we're kind of like robotic or analytical about it. We're like, oh yes, you're very sad, Johnny. So you think positive parenting isn't for you, huh? You have tried all the tips and tricks and you feel like nothing is working, this is not effective. If so, this video is exactly for you, because I'm going to be talking about the 5 reasons why positive parenting may not be working for you. So let's just get into the video. What's up, you guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, I am Dr. Jasmine. Hi, hello, and welcome. I am a clinical psychologist and I'm also a mom of 2 little girls. Now, before we get into this video, I just want to say, if you haven't already, be sure to download my free positive parenting checklist bundle. I know that was a mouthful, but basically it is full of helpful checklists on how to handle the most difficult parenting moments like tantrums, aggression, not listening, in positive parenting style. Now I know you might be like, this doesn't work, but maybe you haven't checked out my bundle yet, mama. So the link will be in the description box if you want to grab your free bundle. And that's it. Let's get into it. Okay, so number 1, okay, reason number 1 why positive parenting may not be working for you is because you think that in order to be a positive parent, you shouldn't or you can't have limits and boundaries, and that cannot be farther from the truth. I think there's this big myth out there that positive parenting really just means permissive parenting, and that is not true. Yes, we should pour into our child and we should treat them with respect and love, and we should connect with them, right? That our relationship with them is one of the most important things, right? But it is not true that we should not have limits and boundaries. I think actually the secret ingredients of parenting success is having the love, but also having the limits, right? Kids need limits. Just like when they're babies and they need baby gates, they need these psychological baby gates, if you will, where they know where they can go and where they can't go, right? They need to know these things, right? Because it helps them understand the world and how to, best interact with others, how to get their needs met in appropriate ways, right? How to function in society, right? So, if you're struggling with giving limits and setting limits and really sticking with them, it could be for so many different reasons. One, maybe because you had really bad experiences as a child with discipline, right? Like your parents didn't know how to discipline with love and respect. And when you think about disciplining your child, you're met with all these uncomfortable feelings and thoughts because you don't want to be like your parents, right? You don't want to discipline in the way that they disciplined you because you know that didn't work. So that could be a reason why. Or you think that like if you discipline your child, you're going to be the mean parent, or you really want your child to like you want to be friends with your child, you lack boundaries like in general, right, with yourself, with other people, and so this is just really a reflection of a larger issue with boundaries. You could be operating from this myth that it's your job as a parent to keep your child happy all the time, which I think we all kind of have in a lot of ways, because seeing our child upset, seeing our child in pain is very uncomfortable for us as parents. And so we may come to believe like, if I'm not keeping my child happy all the time, then I'm failing. And that's one of the biggest myths I love to talk about and debunk, because I think it keeps us stuck, especially when it comes to discipline. Reason number 2 why positive parenting might not be working for you is because you're trying these trips and tricks half-ass, okay? You're just like kind of going through the motion, or maybe you're like consuming all this information on social media, but you're not really getting a deep dive into it. I recently heard how social media is kind of like fast food information, and I think it's so true. I think we can fall into this practice of consuming all this information, and it's really great, but it's really brief, it's really surface level, and we don't really take a deeper dive into it, right? We don't really actually work with somebody on our parenting. We don't work around the issues in our childhood, right, that I just mentioned. We don't do the deeper work, and we're just trying to like get these quick tips and tricks and we're just hoping that it's like the magic band-aid of it all. And don't get me wrong, sometimes it works. Sometimes we read a quick blog article, or we try something that we've seen on Instagram or YouTube, and we're like, hey, this works, this is great. And so don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that it doesn't always work. It's just, if you're coming to a point where positive parenting isn't working for you, maybe it's because you haven't dive in. You haven't taken that plunge, if you will, to actually do some more work, some more inner work around parenting. Or maybe you're trying the tips and tricks, but you're doing it half-assed, like you're just trying to like go through the motions, and you lack the real true intention or the true feeling around it, if that makes sense. You're just kind of going through the motions. So example would be, a lot of the times I hear like, okay, Dr. Jasmine, I'm trying these whole like validating things and it's not working, or my child gets really angry and says, stop saying that. Okay, so there's common reasons why. One, it could be because they're not used to hearing you talk like this, so they're like, no, this is not you. This is not what I'm used to. I'm used to you talking to me in a certain other way when I have really big feelings, and this doesn't feel authentic. Or two, and often kind of complements this, we lack the true empathy behind what we're saying, right? We're kind of like robotic or analytical about it. We're like, oh yes, you're very sad, Johnny. But we're not saying it with a tone that matches the words, right? So saying like, oh, you're really sad about that, Johnny, you didn't like that, versus, oh my God, that's so frustrating, like, I wish we could have ice cream too, right? Isn't that, you would believe like, dang, okay girl, okay, I see, I wish, okay, now you really get it, right? Because I know you want ice cream too, just like I want ice cream. So it's two different things versus, yes, I know you really want ice cream now. They're like, what? Why are you talking like that, right? Why are you being a robot? And that brings me to reason number 3 why positive parenting might not be working for you, is because you haven't stuck with it long enough. I like to use the analogy of going to the gym, right? Trying to lose 10 pounds, trying to get some abs, trying to get some muscles. We would never go to the gym or do a little home workout for a couple days and expect us to have magically lost 10 pounds or expect to have these abs just overnight, right? We know in our head that it takes work, it takes consistency, and it takes weeks, months to get these results. And that's the same thing with parenting, y'all. There's no band-aid to success, right? There's no secret thing that you need to just do once and you're cured. It doesn't really work like that. And I know you probably are like, yeah, duh, I know that. But do you really know that? Like, have you embraced that this is going to be a process, that this is going to take time, that this is going to take consistency? Like, discipline takes consistency. We can't set up a limit once and then expect our child just to magically get it, right? Like, this takes time. And even if they are pushing up against our limit, it doesn't mean it doesn't mean that we're doing something bad per se, right? It just means that, hey, they're a separate person from us, they have feelings, and that's totally fine. So, it's a balance, right? And it's coming to an understanding and really accepting that this takes a lot of consistency to see change over time. Reason number 4 that positive parenting might not be working for you is because you've lost sight of what really matters. And I always say this, right, that our best, parenting tool is our relationship with our child. Like, that's what really matters at the end of the day, not these real, tips and tricks, which I love to talk about, y'all. I'm all about the tips and tricks. I'm all about the checklists. And I think that they are a good complement to our parenting, but the real essence of our parenting comes down to the relationship that we have. And relationships take work. They take daily effort, right? It's just like a relationship with a friend or our spouse or a family member. Like, in order to have a successful relationship, we have to constantly be pouring into it, right? We have to spend time with that person. We have to go through conflict and come out the other end, right? With, more communication, more understanding. That's part of the process of having a relationship with somebody. So, really, if you've lost sight that this is an investment and that what we pour into grows, then maybe that's why positive parenting isn't working for you. And that's why I am a huge fan of play, and that's why I created the play challenge, because I really think that is like the secret to a lot of our woes as parents, is that we've just lost sight, which happens to all of us, myself included. Sometimes, with the daily grind of life and everything else that we're trying to juggle as people, as human beings, especially in 2020, it's easy to lose sight of the fact that, oh yeah, my child needs my one-on-one connection and attention. And play is the best way to do that. So I highly recommend, if you're not already doing this and you're struggling with parenting, to dedicate 5 to 10 minutes of playtime with your little one every day. And you do it every day so that they come to expect it, that they come to trust in it. And that will just message me later, okay? When you do it, now again, it takes some consistency. That's why I say every day. If you do that every day for 30 days, message me back and let me know how you're doing. Thank me later. Okay, number 5, last reason, is that you are paying more attention to the bad behavior than your child's strengths, than your child, what they are doing right. Woo! Okay, I know on my channel here we talk a lot about what's not going right? The tantrums, the aggression, the not listening, right? We love to talk about that all day long, but what we don't talk about, the actual successes, right? Their strengths, what they're doing right. And if we fall into this pattern at home, we are, it's just not going to be good. I mean, think about, like, if we were constantly pointing out and looking for our spouse's shortcomings, how would you feel about them? You probably wouldn't like them. And then how would they feel if you're constantly pointing that out? They would feel bad about themselves. And I fundamentally believe that children, they do better when they feel better. And that our job as parents is to pump them up, right? To be their cheerleader, to focus on their strengths and constantly be building them up and constantly be letting them know how brave they are, how kind they are, how good of a sister or brother they are, how hardworking they are. Like, our children are not going to become the things that we hope they are if we don't remind them not constantly, but that needs to be more of the emphasis versus, okay, you're not listening, Johnny, put on your shoes. Of course, those things are frustrating. But if we're constantly just focusing on that, then we're going to fall into this hole, right? We're not going to enjoy motherhood. Parenting is going to be just a whole big struggle, and we're going to be on the struggle bus, but our child is going to be on the struggle bus as well, right? So, just a little nugget there to always try to pay more attention to their strengths than their weaknesses. And that's for you too, mama. Pay more attention to your strengths. And I think, when we can come to get into a practice of doing this for ourselves, then we can do this for other people, right? So how do you feel about yourself right now? I know I kind of took a little bit of a turn here. I'm trying to turn it back on you guys, but how do you feel about yourself right now? Are you constantly beating yourself up? Are you telling yourself you're a bad mom, you're a bad person, you're a bad friend, you're a bad wife or girlfriend or whatever, you're a bad employee, whatever it is? Because pay attention to that, right? Because not all of what we think is true, and definitely not all what we think is helpful and moves us towards where we want to be. So start to pour back into yourself, start to notice your own strengths, your own wins as a parent and as a person in general, because that will help you focus more on that with others, especially your little ones. So I hope this video was helpful. Let me know down below what your thoughts or your comments are. And don't forget to download my free Positive Parenting Checklist bundle, okay? Don't give up on positive parenting now. Don't do it, okay? I got you, girl. or dad, if you're watching this. This really is my passion, and I am just such a strong believer in positive parenting if you haven't gathered that already. So check out my free checklist full of so much helpful information on how to handle the demands of parenthood in general in ways that are loving and respectful, but also set some good boundaries, because those are important as well, equally as important. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel so you don't miss any videos. Hit that notification bell. That just lets YouTube know you want to be notified when I post up a new video. All right, friends, I will see you in the next one. Bye.